Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Gananāntva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kabīnāmupamashrabastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashranvannotibhisseda Sadhanam Mahaganapataye Namaha Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhirvajinivati Dhinama Vitriyavatu Anu Divo Bruhatah Parvatata Saraswati Jatagantu Yajñam Vagdevyai Namaha Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Sushtuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitayadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashrabaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti na Sarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Bruhaspatir Dadhatu Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharmasvarupine Avatara Varisthaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namaha. Namaskar to all of you. Welcome to the study of Māṇḍūkya Upanishad and its Karika. We had finished studying of the mantras of the Māṇḍūkya Upanishad up to the 6th verse. Now the Karika of Gaudapada, glossary, the analysis of all the 6 verses has begun. We've already completed, we have come to the 6th Karika. So now the whole of Māṇḍūkya Upanishad with Karika is divided into many chapters. The first chapter is called, I'm telling you, it is not the just Māṇḍūkya Upanishad is only 12 verses. But Māṇḍūkya Upanishad with the Karika of Gaudapada, so all that thing is divided into many prakaranas, chapters. So the first prakarana is Agama Prakarana. So now we are in the Agama Prakarana. So there are many chapters like this when Māṇḍūkya Upanishad is explained with the Karika. But without the Karika of Gaudapada Acharya, it is just 12 verses, the shortest Upanishad. Okay, now we are discussing the 6th Karika of Gaudapada, and let us chant it again and go through the summary of it. Yesterday we had already gone half or 3/4 of it, so we will just give you the important foundational notes of that Karika. Now the 6th Karika. Prabhavaha sarva bhavanam satamiti vinishchayaha sarvam janayati pranaschetomshun purushaha pratak. So here the simple meaning of this verse is, it is an established fact that origination. So here in the Karika, Gaudapada Acharya is dealing with creation of this whole universe. So it is an established fact that origination is only for all those beings which are existent. Prana. So in this creation, prana creates everything. Then what about Purusha? Purusha creates. Here the word create is only used for the sake of transaction, because otherwise you will not understand. So Purusha creates conscious beings distinctly. Now prana creates this whole universe, the insentient thing. Purusha creates the living beings, conscious beings distinctly. So that we will explain it in detail later on, the second part of the Karika. So in this verse, Gaudapada Acharya mentions a topic briefly that will be elaborated in the 3rd chapter. Now it is the 1st chapter, Agama Prakarana. So in the 3rd chapter, the creation and other things, this topic which is briefly, it is now only briefly expanded or briefly told. So that will be elaborately told in the 3rd chapter, next Prakarana. So what is that? That is the topic of creation. Creation or cosmology is a big topic for the scientists in philosophy or science, wherever. So what is our Gaudapada Acharya basing his explanation on of the 6th mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad? So what did the 6th mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad discuss about? It discussed about the 3rd quarters. There are 4 quarters. So 3 quarters are mentioned here. The 4th cannot be called as a quarter or anything in the state. There are only 3 states: Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. So Turiya is your pure consciousness, that's all. Just for the sake of transaction, we use that 4th state or 4th this thing. It is not the 4th state. Let us not go into the details now. So here in the 6th mantra, that is talking about the Sushupti, deep sleep state. On this 6th mantra, Gaudapada Acharya has based his explanation of cosmology or creation. So yesterday we have seen some important conclusion. What is that? We are making an important conclusion that if you have to create anything, that product must exist in potential form. This is very important Vedic principle. Yesterday we have dealt about it. I will not go to that again, otherwise it will take a lot of time. So what is that principle, important principle of Vedanta? That the product, any product, the product must exist in potential form, in the cause. This is an important Vedic principle. The examples were given: the sea, water, the ocean, and the lump of clay, about the earthen vase and the gold and its ornaments, milk as the butter, all those things, so many this. What was the another principle, important principle in Vedanta? Now, just a little explanation. Butter cannot be created from water because water doesn't contain butter in the potential form. It's only the milk which contains butter in the potential form. Butter comes out of the milk because it is in the milk in the potential form. So that is the second, another principle of the Vedanta. This principle is called Satkaryavada. What is that? Effect pre-existent in the cause. Effect pre-existent in the cause. Same thing what we saw it in the beginning. This is very important Vedic doctrine. Okay. So it says that you never create anything new. You only convert unmanifest into manifest. That's all. So in the third quarter, that is discussing about the Sushupti, which is deep sleep of the individual called Laya, or deep sleep Sushupti state of the total cosmos of the universe is called the Pralaya. If it is only for you, individual, microcosm, then it is called Laya. If it is at the cosmic level, universal level, that is called Pralaya. So going to Sushupti, just like we go to Sushupti every day, there will be so many such Sushuptis at the universal level. That is called Pralaya. Everything is dissolved. You know that Pralaya, dissolution. So now, all the 5 elements with which this whole universe is created, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi, all that will be resolved back into its potential condition. They are all in potential condition. Now, this potential form of the material creation, should note that, in ancient things, the potential form of the material creation is called Maya, Prakriti, Mula Vidya, Mula Avidya, Avyaktam. Avyaktam is unmanifest. Avyakritam or Shakti. So, Maya can be used here. There are so many names, so we can use the word Maya. So, during Laya of the individual Prajna or the Pralaya, that is of the universe, potential universe in the deep sleep state, the whole universe is in the Maya seed form. I told you in the form of ideas. Yesterday I forgot to tell about one David Humphrey. He was a chemist. He was a scientist, he was a chemist. While he was lecturing to the students, so he was explaining about the nitrous oxide, laughing gas, NO. Nitrogen and oxygen, nitrous oxide, NO. Or if I am wrong, please correct me. It may be N2O or NO, whatever it might be. You can correct me if I am wrong. So that is nitrous oxide. So you know that in the lab, in the chemistry, they will be showing the feature. You have to observe it, all that nature. You have to smell it. Then you have to tell the gas is pungent in nature, or whatever the fragrance it has, you have to name it. And everything will be studied. So now the nitrous oxide was taken in the lid. So it was being shown to this thing. Suppose, what is the property? If you inhale that, what happens? So in the lab, when David Humphrey was showing that, he inhaled that nitrous oxide or laughing gas a little more, too much, rather than he had to just inhale a little, then you'll start laughing. If you inhale more, something peculiar can happen. So what happened? Swami Vivekananda mentions this in his complete works. So when he inhaled that, he went into a very high state of mind, because he was a scientist and his mind might have been sharpened. So he went to a very high state. He stood motionless. similar to some bhava samadhi or something. It may not be that because he was not a spiritual man. So that samadhis also can be had, or the spiritual experience also can be had. In the Patanjali Maharshi's Raja Yoga, it is described that even through some chemicals and some other external agents, you can have some anubhutis, or you can have some experiences too. But they are temporary until you prepare your mind and go through that naturally. It will not be under your control. Whatever that might be, we will not go to Raj Yoga now. We will focus on Vedanta, and in Vedanta, it is Māṇḍūkya Upanishad. In Māṇḍūkya Upanishad, we are in the Karika 6, and in the Karika 6, it is creation. So when David Humphrey inhaled that gas a little more, then what happened? He went into a state of trance. He was motionless, standing there. Others would be laughing, inhaling that, but he inhaled a little more and went to a high state of trance. After a long time, he came down from the trance. He told that he saw the whole world as ideas. Can you imagine? He saw the whole world, universe, everything as ideas. In its ideal form, ideas. See? Now that is Sushupti. He is seeing, he is having the vision of seeing the whole world as ideas. Swami Vivekananda mentions this. So now, in this deep sleep state, everything is resolved back to in that seed state or into the potential form, is that as ideas. So, seed form. During Laya or Pralaya, the whole universe is in Maya, seed form, Avyaktam, along with consciousness. That is Atman. So, Atma is called by few names. At the individual level, you call it as the Atman. At the cosmic level, you call it the Parabrahman, Paramatman. Then at the state, three state, the fourth, next state is Turiya. So the same thing, the same different name for all those things. Atma, Parabrahma, Turiya, Paramatma. So now let us take one name, Atma or consciousness, plus Maya. Consciousness plus Maya is equal to the third quarter, Sushupti. So Maya is there, consciousness as identified with that Sushupti state. So that is the Sushupti. So what are the name given to the individual body? When associated, your Atman associated with the body in the Prajna state, in the Sushupti state, it is Prajna. When your Atman, your true nature is associated with the universe in the deep sleep state, potential universe, it is called Ishvara. Prajna Ishvara. So here everything is in the seed form, in the form of ideas, potential form. In every state of deep sleep, in this state or deep sleep, it is followed by, after this deep sleep, it is followed by waking up. It will go back to waking state. Now, individually, when you or me, we go up to the deep sleep state and wake up in the same current body, in the same physical body which we have here. You have your physical body, I have my physical body. So from the Laya or from the Sushupti state, deep sleep state, I wake up in this body itself, the current body, then it is called Jagrat Avastha, waking up. Suppose you go to the deep sleep state and you will not wake up in this body, and you wake up in another body, another new body, child. And what is that called? Rebirth. Birth, that is called birth. In Sushupti, or if you give up this physical body, that is called death, that's all, nothing else. You are so afraid of death. So if you analyze gnana, knowledge is power. When you give up this physical body only, it's called death. So you go to sushupti, deep sleep. And if you wake up in this current body itself, then it is jagrat, waking up. Suppose if I go to sushupti, from the sushupti, if I don't get up in this body, wake up in this body, but wake up in another body, some other body, that's called rebirth. That's all. That is rebirth, another birth. So now you came to have the idea what is birth, what is death. See, it's so simple. If you have this knowledge, see, first of all, if you are having this knowledge, that fear of death is gone. Then if you go to Ajnana and if you are attached to this body, then you will start having the fear of giving up this body because you are attached to this body. Otherwise, see, knowledge is power. You are getting the knowledge, what is rebirth, what is birth, what is death. So if you have the knowledge, as Lord Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Vasam sijirnani yata vihaya, just like the old body or old cloth, worn out cloth, you cast it off, you throw it away and put a new cloth. So casting off that cloth, old cloth, useless cloth, so this body has become old. It is not useful for me to do my next work, karma yoga or anything for that sake, puja or dhyana or anything, then it is useless. So I cast it off, I give it up. That is death. It has become useless. So I take up a new body, new cloth for my purpose, either at the worldly level to fulfill the desires, go forward in the evolution, or to at the higher level to have spiritual illumination. You need a body. You can have all this spiritual illumination at the level of only Jagrat Avastha. So you have to have a physical body. So taking up a new body for that purpose to do the sadhana, or the worldly people with the desire to enjoy that sensual worldly enjoyments. So that is again rebirth or birth. That's all. That is death and birth. Krishna has explained, and here also in the Māṇḍūkya Upanishad, it is telling from the sushupti, deep sleep state, it will be always followed by waking up, jagrat. When you wake up in this current body, then it is called jagrat. You are woken up. It's called waking up. If you wake up from the deep sleep state in another body, in a new body, that's called rebirth. So you have come to know, see, so many new things are being studied here in the Karika, in the Mandukya Upanishad. So what is that now? What is the another conclusion which we are getting? Manifestation follows every dissolution. Dissolution means pralaya or laya. So when you go to the deep sleep state, it is laya at the body level, potential body level. At the cosmic level, at the universal level, it is called pralaya. So every dissolution, there will be manifestation. So manifestation follows every dissolution. At the time of manifestation, everything which has become dormant or latent or potential, it rises back. Okay, this is with the physical things, inert things. So prana does all that thing, or maya. Prana, we also saw that prana or maya, the original power is called prana. So it is doing that. The mantra told us then. What was that mantra? What did that mantra tell about this? See, just two words is giving so much of replete with meaning. That's why sutra, it's called sutra. So now, what is it telling? Sarvam janayati pranaha. All this from the pralaya or from the deep sleep state, the manifestation happens. The insentient world or the non-living world, the matter world of the matter is created by prana or maya, whatever. And what about the living beings, sentient things? We have come to know about the non-living things, manifestation of the non-living things. What about the living, conscious things? So many living beings are there. So again, the mantra, the same mantra or the sixth Karika is telling. What is it telling? What is Gaudapada Acharya telling in the sixth Karika? Is telling Chetom Shun Purushaha Pratak. Chetom Shun Purushaha. Chetaha, Chetan means consciousness. Purushaha is the Parabrahman or Ishvara or whatever. Paramatman, Atman. So the material world, the insentient world is created by the prana. Then what happened to the consciousness, the Atman, which is associating with all these things? So consciousness by itself, pure consciousness, does not and cannot do anything. You cannot, what was that basic things we learnt in the Nididhyasana, Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, transaction. Pure consciousness is not available for any transaction. So consciousness cannot do anything. Then is it like inert thing? No. Is it something like a dead thing? No. That means it cannot undergo any change. So when the body-mind complexes, so many minds, so many bodies are manifested, this consciousness, which cannot be had for transaction, it lends reflected consciousness to this so many millions and billions of body-mind complexes. So because another example can be given. Take the example of the sun. Yes, not S-O-N, S-U-N. So now have so many pots with water, hundreds, 200 million or any amount of water, pot with water, okay? Now, the original sun is reflected in this water in that pot, isn't it? So you will call so many suns are here. Can you deny that that is not the sun, even though it is reflected? That water is like the mind. The pot, the mind or the buddhi is that water, and the pot is our body. So consciousness does not do anything. It is not available for transaction. Sun is in no way becoming this pot or mind, but the reflection of the sun, it looks as if the sun is there in that, though it is reflection. In that water it is reflected. Likewise, like me, like you, like all of these are all like that pot, ghata. That's why the human body is compared to ghata, pot. That's why you see Kabir Das song is there. Ghungataka phatakolu tuhe Rama milenge. In that song, what is Kabir Das telling? Ghata ghata ramata Rama Ramayya. Ghata ghata ramata. In every pot, what is pot is compared to? Pot means living beings. Ghata, though the literal meaning ghata means just a mud pot. But here the philosophers, the saints, they call it as ghata means for the human body, it is just like a pot. So it's called ghata. So the space within that is called ghatakasha. So these terminologies in Vedanta you have to remember. Patakasha, ghatakasha, hridakasha, chidakasha, so many akashas will come space. So now don't get confused about other akashas, only remember ghata akasha. Ghata is the pot. See, akasha cannot be divided, it can't be cut, space cannot be cut. But when you make a pot, the akasha looks as if it has become a separate space inside the pot. It appears to be, the space or akasha appears to have taken a form inside that pot. So likewise, consciousness, though it is not available for any transaction, it is pure in itself. Inside this body, the body-mind complex, it looks as if it is caught up inside, as if it is inside. Now break that pot. Now the akasha, which was inside the pot, becomes one with the external patakasha, matakasha, so many akasha. So now, was there any division in the space? No. It is just like you draw a line on the water. Can you draw a line on the water? Can you divide the space? It looks as if divided because of that pot. Likewise, this pot called the body-mind complex, our body, mind, the bundle of character, the ego, when it reflects the consciousness, it looks as if it is alive, a separate entity. But in reality, it is not the separate entity. When this mind, body-mind complex is broken, then the space becomes one with the infinite space. So like that, the consciousness, which was as if caught up in this body-mind complex or reflected, there will be no reflection. Then that is the original consciousness. So the example is given of the pot with the water and the sun. So many millions of living beings are there, sentient, conscious living beings. How is that? Got the idea? So many. This Maya is creating so many body-mind complexes. When reflected, the consciousness reflected in that, it looks as if there are many, but it is not many. You, I, them, all of them. It looks, because of the division of the body-mind complex, it looks as if consciousness is divided. But in reality, it is not divided. So many conscious. So for our transaction, for our purpose, we will tell that consciousness gives rise to all these living beings, conscious living beings. Maya gives rise to all this material world. Consciousness, you should know that it is not available for any transaction, does not and cannot do anything. It cannot undergo any change. That is, we learnt in the Shravana Manana Nididhyasana explanation. When the body-mind complexes are manifested after that creation or coming out of that potential form, when this Maya manifests that body-mind complex, that original consciousness, where it is reflected here in so many body-mind complexes, it looks as if these are all the different living beings. So the consciousness or Atman or Paramatman or Parabrahman lends reflected consciousness to these body-mind complex. Thus, as many body-mind complexes, as many minds, there are so many reflected consciousness will form. So it looks as if there are so many living beings, I, you, all those different living beings. It looks as if we are all separate. In essence, we are all one, that is Paramatman. It is only one God, one Parabrahman. There are no many. But it looks as if. So it is so clear now. It is becoming clearer and clearer. You should all remember this. You should meditate this. So if you have this knowledge of this, clarity of this, then karmas cannot touch you. That's what yesterday we saw. We got the example through the Bhagavad Gita also, Lord Krishna telling that. So thus, as many body-mind complexes, there are so many reflected consciousness. So it looks as if there are so many living beings. So you have come to know creation. What is that external world and what are the non-living and the living. So many reflected consciousness will form when you come to this waking state. So Gaudapada Acharya in this Karika says that objects that exist in potential form in the Prajna, Ishvara, in that Sushupti state, referred to in the 6th mantra, becomes the manifest world. So material, the objects, what it was resolved in the Sushupti state, Now it gets manifested to form this manifest world, universe, waking universe, whatever you see, the galaxies, the Milky Way, the universe. Now what about that unmanifest form, avyakta? That world is as good as, though it exists, as good as non-existence. Why? Because it is not usable. You cannot use it for any purpose. You cannot see it, you cannot use it for any purpose. So in Sushupti, that universe, which is in the potential form, avyakta, it is as good as non-existent, though it has existence. It is as good as non-existence because it is not usable. It's only usable in the Jagrat world, in the waking world only. You can put it into use. Okay, this much is clear. We are going still to further study the 6th Karika. So, Gaudapada Acharya, in the first 5 Karikas, he made a comparative study of the first 3 quarters. What are the first 3 quarters? Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. These are the first 3 quarters of the Atman. When the consciousness or Atman, pure consciousness, that is you, your true nature, identifies with the waking world, that is called Jagrat. When your consciousness identifies with the dream world, that is the Swapna, Avastha. Then when your consciousness, your true nature, that is the Atman, identifies with the deep sleep state, it's called the Sushupti. So these are the 3 quarters of the Atman in the form of, the name was also given for our transaction, Vishwa, Taijasa and Prajna, at the body level, individual level, microcosm, and correspondingly at the total level, this was microcosm, at the macrocosm, in the form of Virat, Hiranyagarbha and Ishvara. So about Ishvara, Mantra 6 pointed out that this Ishvara is associated with the causal body, causal universe. So when the Atman, your own Atman, your true nature, is associated with the Sushupti, the causal body, individual body and the causal universe, at the total level, it is called Ishvara. Now, you were always mentioning and praying to Ishvara, you were giving form to Ishvara, but you never knew what was this Ishvara. See now, Mandukya Upanishad has given you this idea, such a broad idea, scientific idea. Isn't it? You are getting so many things, learning so many things through this study of the Upanishad. So now we are better positioned. Earlier it was all blank. You are not aware of so many things. So the study of Mandukya Upanishad and the Karika, we are getting so many knowledge, so much of wisdom and knowledge. Now, Ishvara. When your own Atman, pure consciousness associated with the Sushupti, not only Sushupti, that is in the potential form, so that can manifest to all other things. So totality with the bodies and with the universe, your body and the universe, that's called Ishvara. So the 6th mantra pointed out that Ishvara is associated with the causal body and causal universe at the total level. Since Ishvara is associated with the causal universe, what is the meaning of causal universe? Karana Jagat. Karana means which causes. The name itself is indicating causal, which causes. So since Ishvara is associated with the causal universe, then what can you conclude? Ishvara is called the cause of the entire universe. So when somebody denies that there is no need of any Ishvara or God, now you can tell It is necessary. Ishvara is the cause of all these universes. How? See, scientifically it is proved. At the same time, see, next you will come to know that Ishvara is not the creator also. It is creating by itself. That also is true. How? We will see that later on. Let us not. Now we will come to some Nishchaya Swarupa conclusion. So, since Ishvara is associated with the causal universe, Ishvara is associated with the causal universe, Ishvara is called the cause of this entire universe. Therefore, both the gross body, gross universe, the subtle body, subtle universe in the dream state, the pairs are born out of the causal universe alone. And when it is resolved back, they rest. They manifest from the causal universe. They also go back to rest in the causal universe and resolve in it. So we all discussed that in the 6th mantra yesterday. Now, in one of the Karika, the word was used, Yonihi Sarvasya. Yonihi Sarvasya. For all the total of universe, Yonihi. What is meant by Yoni? Different meanings are given in different context. At the highest level, what is the real literal meaning of Yoni means? Which is the cause, means cause, that's all. Yoni means cause, nothing else. The literal meaning of Yoni means cause, that's all. Yonihi Sarvasya was used in that mantra. The phrase Yonihi Sarvasya is an important phrase which Gaudapada highlights here. In that 6th mantra, the word Yonihi means cause. Ishvara, therefore, is the cause of the universe. So now, what did you learn? Your own Atman, pure consciousness, your own true nature is called Ishvara when associated with causal body and causal universe. The Upanishad pointed the causal body and the causal universe. The Upanishad has pointed out that Ishvara is the intelligent and the material cause of this creation. Now, I gave the explanation. For anything to happen, anything to be created new, any product. I gave the example of the pot and the potter, industry, machinery, anything you produce, medicines, anything, there will be 3 requirements. 2 important are efficient cause, nimitta karana, and material cause, upadana. Vastu, material cause. Then there is one more thing called instrumental cause also. So these 3 things are required for any creation or any new products to come out. What are they? You need a man who has, man or somebody whose intelligence, you have to imagine, he has to give the plan. Then he has to take up some material to form that medicine or the product or this pot. So now let us, easiest example is pot. Now, what is the efficient cause? Or here it is given in the Upanishad level, it is called as the intelligent cause, efficient cause or intelligent cause, is that potter. The potter thinks, he gets that idea of the shape of that earthenware, the plate should be like this, he might have newer ideas, he may prepare some new thing also. So all it is in the imagination and brain and thought of that potter. So it's called the intelligent cause or the efficient cause. Then with what does he prepare the potter? What is the material used? Clay, mud or clay. So it's called material cause is clay. Potter, the person, is called the efficient cause. Then he has a stick, he has a big wheel, and it will be mounted on one axle, it will be rotating like this. You'll be using that stick to rotate it. So on that he prepares, while it is rotating the pot, he puts that lump of clay and gives it different shape with his hand based on imagination. And after that he gives some more shape with some club or something. He goes on beating it, giving it different shapes. It may be a pot, it may be a plate, it may be a cup. The glass industry, you can see that glass, that molten glass at high temperature is converted into that fluid. What is that glass made out of? Silicon. It is sand, nothing but sand. With some little chemicals, it is molten. Then it is given the shape. They will blow it. They will take a pipe and that glass thing will be put there and they blow it and give different shapes. If you go to the glass industry, you can see. So here the potter is giving different shapes to that. So he is a intelligent cause. With his intelligence, efficient cause, the instrument and the material cause. So these three things are required for anything in the world. Whatever you produce, these three things are there. What about this whole universe? The creation of this universe, the three things should be there. What is that? So Ishvara is the efficient or intelligent cause. Ishvara is the material cause. And Ishvara is the God is the instrumental. Everything is God only. Here it is all separate. Any example in the creation similar to that Ishvara creating this world? Urnanabhi. What is Urnanabhi? Spider. Spider, it brings out the thread or that web from its navel. And it is the intelligent cause. It does all the planning of the web, how to, the shape of the web, which tree and where it has to do. Then all the instrument, its legs and hands, mouth, it webs. Cobweb is prepared. It weaves it. So the cobweb, you can get the best example for material cause, efficient cause, instrumental cause, the preparation by the spider. Likewise, Ishvara or the Lord, God is the material cause. The matter with which this world or universe is created is efficient cause, intelligence cause, and the instrumental cause. Everything is Ishvara only. So everything comes out of Ishvara. Ishvara is the creator. That's why it's called Yonihi Sarvasya, the sixth mantra. Ishvara is therefore is the cause of this universe. Ishvara is, who is Ishvara then? Your own Atman, pure consciousness. Your own Atman, note it again and again and again, I'm telling. Your own Atman, pure consciousness, or Parabrahman, or Paramatman, whatever you call. Ishvara is that Atma when associated with the causal body and causal universe. And what is that Atma? Your true nature. So this Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, has pointed out that Ishvara is both the intelligent cause, the material cause, and everything of this universe. In this context, Gaudapada Acharya wishes to discuss some points about the creation. Because Ishvara is said to be the cause. And everything, the whole universe is the effect. Effect coming out of the cause is creation. What is creation? Effect coming out of the cause is creation. Therefore, in these verses, beginning with the 6th verse, Gaudapada Acharya enters into a brief discussion of creation, which will be the same creation. This is only brief here. Where will it be elaborated? In the 3rd Prakarana. Now we are in the Agama Prakarana chapter, the 3rd chapter that will be elaborated. Now only brief thing about creation. Okay, Gaudapada Acharya enters into brief discussion here. In this after 6th verse. The 3rd, 4th verse, we will see it elaborately of Mandukya Karika in that Karika. Now here in this brief discussion on the creation, the first point that Gaudapada Acharya highlights in the 6th verse is that the entire creation is not a new creation. It's not a new creation because nothing can be newly created. We all discussed yesterday. Conservation, the law of conservation of energy, law of conservation of matter. Matter can neither be created nor destroyed. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can be only converted from one form to another form. That's all. You can't even add one iota of matter into this universe. One small particle. One particle. Or you cannot destroy one small particle from this physical world. What to speak of other things. You can't even add a little of energy into this world, nor you can destroy it. At the most, you can convert it from one energy to another, from here to there, that's all. Take it from here and put it there, and take from there and put it here, that's all, nothing else. So matter and energy can neither be created nor destroyed. This is the law of conservation of energy and matter. In science itself, this is proved. So now, can this world be created new? No. Can it be newly created? No. Then what about this creation? So that rule here, conservation rule is applicable here also. Ishvara is omniscient. What is all knowing everything? He knows about the past, he knows about the present, he knows about the future, what is going to happen. And Ishvara is omnipotent, all powerful. He can do anything in this world, anything and everything. Then, if nothing is done, created newly, it was already there in the potential form. The only Ishvara does is he brings it out, that's all, manifests. He helps in manifest, that's all. Nothing new. The whole world is created, it sustains, maintains, and it will go back. Dissolution, this has happened so many times. There are so many pralayas, smaller pralayas, bigger pralayas, mahapralaya. But it is the same world again, it is coming out. What new can come out? The same thing. Yesterday I told you, gave the example. In this Jagrat Avastha, sitting here in front of the camera, in front of the laptop, in Johannesburg, with this dress, on this couch, in this kutir, Ramakrishna kutir, in the apartment or the complex called 108, 69A on Blandford Road, North Riding, Johannesburg, Gauteng Province, South Africa. I sitting at this time, the time now here is 7 o'clock, 5 minutes to 7 o'clock. And all of you people in India, it is now 10:30 or whatever the time might be there. So whatever is happening, you are all hearing about Mandukya Upanishad and the Gaudapada Acharya's Karika. So this now it is happening. It has happened billions and infinite times earlier. It will again happen billions and infinite times in future. So how is Ishvara omniscient, all-knowing? Because he has seen it earlier. He knows the same thing will happen now. He knows what will happen in future too. That's why he is omniscient. If something is being repeated again and again, you are also omniscient about that for the short time. You know that what is going to happen now. You can predict it, isn't it? So likewise, Ishvara is omniscient, he knows everything. Because this is being repeated again and again, the same creation, it has gone to potential form, it will come out, that's all. What is the work of Ishvara? What is the work of that Ishvara? So the example can be given of a goldsmith. What does the goldsmith do? So Ishvara work is nothing but creating and dissoluting and maintaining. So goldsmith only brings out the potential form in a lump of gold in the form of the different name and form ornaments, that's all. That is all the goldsmith doing. So Ishvara also is manifesting and sustaining and taking it back, that's all, at the higher level. Just like the goldsmith only brings out what is in the potential form, he knows that different ornaments. So some people want to have the ornament like this. It is all there. So only you will make a mold and put that gold into that molten gold and it gets a shape. Nothing else. Whatever was already there, Ishvara is bringing it out like the goldsmith. So electricity is in the potential and dormant and unusable form in the atom, in the coal, in the waterfall, or in the sunlight. Thus, creation is nothing but the conversion of the unmanifest into the manifest. So now we have come to know what is creation. Creation is nothing but modification of the unmanifest into the manifest. So Ishvara must have two things in potential form because the universe has two aspects: inert material component and the conscious component. Inert is insentient and the consciousness component is sentient, living and non-living. So Ishvara must have two things in potential form because the universe has two aspects: the inert material component and the consciousness component. From that Ishvara, the inert material components get converted into the universe. What about consciousness? Consciousness remains as it is. You cannot alter it. You cannot change it. It is not there for any transaction. It is not available for any transaction. Everything that is potentially there, that alone can manifest, nothing new. So this manifestation is wrongly called as creation. For our understanding, because we will get confused, so for our transaction you have given the name creation, that's all. It's not creating anything. It's only manifesting. This manifestation is wrongly called creation. Creation means something bringing out something from zero. Maya, magic. Something was not there, the magician will do like this and it comes. So creation is not like that. No magic. It was in the potential form, it was manifested. Everything that is potentially there, that alone can manifest. This manifestation is wrongly called creation. So an important lesson of Vedanta is that creation is the wrong word, misnomer. Manifestation is the correct term. Either things manifest naturally or work is expanded to manifest things. So some of the atheists who don't believe in God, they tell that everything happens naturally by accident. That can also be proved here, you see. If you see from one way, that is true. If you see, look at this from another way, no, Ishvara is the cause. So there is nothing special creation, it is only manifestation. And that either things manifest naturally or work is expanded to manifest things. Now which part of Ishvara contributes to the inert universe and which part contributes to the sentient living universe? So in Karika 6, in the phrase Prana Sarvam Janayati, we read that just now, the mantra in the beginning, Prana Sarvam Janayati. What is Prana? Prana refers to the causal universe, the Maya, the Prakriti, the original power. The original power is called Prana. Swami Vivekananda explains that in the introduction to the Raja Yoga. Prana is not our breathing. It's only one manifestation, grossest manifestation of Prana. Mind is also Prana, energy. Thought is Prana, electricity, everything is Prana, energy, power. Original Prana, from which all the energies have come, that is Maya. That is this potential universe. So that Prana, that power, Prana, Sarvam Janayati, Prana refers to the causal universe. Prana is a loaded technical word. Elsewhere in the contextual word, why this confusing expression here? The reason is during our deep sleep, we are in our causal body. Everything has resolved in the deep sleep state except prana shakti. Prana is still there. When you are in deep sleep, prana is still there. If prana goes away, then you are a dead inert thing. You know, the original prana is called prana, okay. Other than that, there are 5 kinds of major pranas in our body. You know, some of the people, some group of people, when they are before taking food, they do the mantra and offer it. They take little water around, put it around the food and take 6 grains of rice or 5 grains of rice. They will show the mudras while giving naivedya to the Lord. We will take water in little hand like this. Pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, samanaya swaha. So we are offering that food to the prana shakti in our body. There are 5 major pranas. Expression of that original prana in our body, there are 5. What is that? Prana, apana, udana, samana. Pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, vyana. Prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. Upward going energy, downward going energy, sideward going energy, the heartbeat, the glands perform the secretion of the hormones, the circulation of the blood, the movement of the electromagnetic waves in our nerves, the chemical energy, everything, they're all expression of different prana. The major thing are 5. Prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. So while we are taking the food, we offer that food to that pranaya swaha, panaya swaha, udanaya swaha, samanaya swaha. So assimilation of all that energy, the food we are taking is, all that energy food we are taking is converted into all these 5 different forms. So there are some subtle, smaller pranas too, other than these 5 pranas, expression of that prana energy. What are they? Devadatta, Krikala, Kurma, Naga, Dhananjaya. These are the 5 subtle pranas, smaller ones. The major big is prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. There are smaller pranas, subtle, they are called 5. Devadatta, Krikala, Kurma, Naga, Dhananjaya. So these are all the manifestation of that original prana, energy, original power. So that creates this body, this external world, everything. See, when you give up the body, when this prana is lost, all other prana goes away. But something is holding yet. Maybe if you keep that until it rots, the body rots and disintegrates. After that too, that after even hundreds of years, there will be bone there. It will be in that shape. That also will disintegrate. So something is still holding. There is some energy which is holding that body after even all the other pranas have left. So that is prana shakti. So when that major prana shakti, that prana aspect goes away from this physical body, then they will tell, oh, that man is dead. So this in Maya principle, you can understand it here. Prana is the causal universe. The Maya principle, then this insentient component of Ishvara projects the entire material universe. Krishna tells in that whenever there is decline in dharma, I will come and again. How do I come? I take up a body. He is a pure consciousness, he is Atman, Parabrahma Swarupa. He takes this body with the help of the Maya. I create this body and I come to this world to arrest the decline of the decline of the righteousness. So Krishna tells, I take the help to get a human body, I take the help of the Maya. In Bhagavad Gita it is there. So this insentient component of the Ishvara, that is Maya, projects the entire material universe, whereas the Purusha, the conscious aspect of Ishvara, the consciousness principle, creates the sentient jivas, the living beings. So you should not again tell that creation means something new. No, the creation is only manifestation, and that too reflection of that consciousness. In the body-mind complex, it looks as if there are many multiple living beings. So the mind of every jiva, every living being, the mind forms a reflection of the original consciousness. Just like a mirror forming the reflection of the face or anything for that sake. Thus the original consciousness generates an innumerable number of reflected consciousness. I gave you another example too, like the sun forming many reflections when there are many reflecting medias. So all the living beings, the jivas with the reflected consciousness, are all the living beings, and the material universe is the object of the experience. So you have come to know what is this world, the whole world. See, everything is so clear, crystal clear. What is the living being? And what is the material being? Material insentient, sentient and insentient. So much of new knowledge we are getting. Have you noticed that when some person is dead, when they are taking the body to be burnt or whatever, cremation, the son or the elder person, he carries a pot on the back like this. They will make 9 holes. Water will come out, 9 holes. They will make holes, he will be carrying. After that, you let it and it will break. What is that indication? Have you noticed? You all have seen that ritual is being performed. Nobody asks why, what. So it is being ghata, the pot. So this body, mind complex, individuality is compared to that pot. So the space, the consciousness, pure consciousness inside this ghata was looking as if it is a separate being. The body is broken, is dead now. The pot is broken. So now it has merged in the entire consciousness. Mukti. So pot is carried and it will be broken. See, you will not have fear also now in the death or in the death ceremony. You need not fear. It's clear, crystal clear. Isn't it? Everything is clear. See, knowledge is power. So much of clarity. Thus, as many body-mind complexes, there are so many reflected consciousness, the one reflected Lord. So you are not separate, I am not separate, they are not separate. It's only one God, only one consciousness. When reflected in many body-mind complex, it looks as if it is many. That is jiva, living beings. Thus, as many minds, there are so many reflected consciousness will form, they are all the living beings. Gaudapada says that objects that exist in potential form in the prajna Ishvara referred to in the 6th mantra becomes the manifest world. Then the unmanifest world is as good as non-existence because it is unusable. You can't use the unmanifest world, cannot be used for any transaction. Only in the waking state you can use it for transaction. So we will study the same thing about the creation and the 6th Karika. So many new things are to be learned. So we will do that in the next class, if God wills, tomorrow, or we do not know when. So we will meet again. So now, on whatever we have discussed, if you have any questions or doubt on the subject discussed today, you can ask. Any doubts, any questions on the subject discussed today? Any questions, any doubts?
Pranam Swamiji.
Yes, Mother.
See, after the death, the consciousness, you said it will merge with the universal consciousness. Then what happens to the Karna Sharira? That will be having the consciousness till it will take another birth, na?
Yeah, it has to take this thing. Only the body, physical body is gone, that's all. When mukti or when you get realization only, the whole thing is collapses. Whole thing collapses. And you become one with the consciousness, turiya. If you, that's why I gave the two different explanation. The first thing is, those people of the worldly enjoyment, they will get a new body, rebirth. Those who do not have the desire and this thing, they want liberation, then they will get that. They become one with that. So,
Pranam Guruji.
yes, mother.
There are persons like Avadhutaru or like Raghavendra Swamiji. They all are supposed to be.
They were all people like
their
you.
body is
In
there.
their last birth, Raghavendra Swami was Vyasacharya. That is our guru of Purandaradasa, Vyasatirtha. So in Vyasatirtha, earlier to that, he was Prahalada. So Prahalada had a great desire to serve the human beings, the jivas, give them the devotion to the Lord. So he took so many different bodies to come again and again to help the people. And in the Raghavendra body, he told that he will, after he is Sasharira Samadhi, is there in the Samadhi in Mantralaya. So he will live for 600 years and he will be doing good work to the people. So that is Raghavendra Swami. He was a living being like you, ancient being. You can also become like him if you do the sadhana, purify yourself. Two types of people will be there. One type of people will be, suppose they get some good mangoes or good fruits. What will they do? They will not show it to any people. They will eat it and they will even wipe their mouth not to show any traces of it. But other kind of people are there. They want to share anything and enjoy with everybody. So people like Raghavendra Swami and other things, they don't want to get mukti and enjoy that mukti, love, that wonderful joy of God only for themselves. They come back to share it with others. They are the great saints. They are called Ishvara Kotis. So many saints like that are there. So if you want just mukti and if you want your own selfishness, you can merge yourself in the Parabrahman, in God. If you have that sympathy and compassion towards the living beings, others are suffering, so I want to come and share it with others, the knowledge of God, then you become like Raghavendra Swami or anything.
Pranam Guruji.
Yes, mother. Any other questions, any other doubts? Are there any questions on the YouTube live chat? There are no questions on the YouTube live chat. So if there are no doubts, no questions here on the Google Live, then I can conclude with the prayer. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. This mantra, Veda mantra, Purnamadah Purnamidam, is telling the same thing. Purnamadaha, infinite is that Parabrahman, the Lord. Purnamidam, that Adaha means that one, the Lord. Idam means this created world, or this all the world, whether in its three states, created state or deep sleep or in Sushupti, all that world, this is also infinite. The Lord is also infinite. So this world has been taken out of that Lord. Purnasya Purnam Adaya. The infinite world which is manifested has been carved out or taken out, subtracted out from that infinite Lord. So will there be something empty or reduction there? Purnasya Purnam Adaya. When this infinite world is subtracted from that infinite Paramatman or Parabrahman, what remains? Purnam eva avashishyate. Infinity alone remains. That is the thing. And now the mathematician recently they have found out infinity plus infinity is infinity, infinity minus infinity is infinity, infinity into infinity is infinity, infinity divided by infinity is infinity. But our Upanishad mantra is telling the same thing about infinity millions of years back, 60,000, 70,000 years back. They have given this truth. Mathematics was given by Indians only. So that is the meaning of that beautiful mantra. It is telling about the creation too. Thank you. Namaste. Om Namo Narayanaya.
Namaste, Guruji.